Hi there, I'm back, and today I'm going to do a quick little kitchen hack with my Cuisinart CBM 18 conical burr grinder. This kitchen hack is aimed directly at the static cling issue in the collection cup. I've done this before, so I know it does work. It reduces the static by probably about 75 to 80%. Nothing stops it completely short of actually putting a stainless steel collection container in there, which from my knowledge doesn't exist yet, but maybe in the future somebody will come up with that. So in the meantime, we're going to use aluminum foil. So what we're going to do is something really, really simple. And you want to use regular standard weight aluminum foil for this. If you use the heavy duty, the really thick foil, it may get a little bit bulky on the edges where you're going to wrap it around to secure it. And the Cuisinart, both of the Cuisinart coffee grinders, this one and the DBM8, the little square one with the disc burrs, have a trigger in the back. There's a switch back here that when you put this in place, you hear a little click. It's real tiny, and it triggers the machine to work. If that little switch is not triggered, the machine won't run. It will not grind any coffee. It's a safety mechanism. So if you use the bulky foil, that might get in the way. So let's get to it here. I already cut a couple of pieces of aluminum foil. One of them is, because I'm going to line the back of this too. One of them I cut the length and width and then plus about an inch to wrap it over to secure it. And then the other piece I have is to fit inside the lid. Now the foil is going to go on the inside so that the metal can deactivate as much of that static as possible. So here's how you do it. This one already has a crease in it because I was cutting this piece to fit. So we want it on the inside. And you're just going to take it and wrap it around and get it, kind of work it in there so that it's as flush with the surface as possible. Less likely to tear later when you're emptying your grounds or brushing out the container. This should last you for a while. All right, now don't forget you need to poke a hole there for your grounds to dispense. So I think I'm just going to fold that back like that, and then you can tear it off. And there you go. So your lid is ready to go. And just to be sure, you want to put it in place. Snaps in. So I think the best thing you can do is to keep as much foil off of this edge as possible, because this is where it's going to trip that trigger in there. All right, now to do the inside. It's a little tricky because it's wider at the bottom. Just kind of stand it up so that the edge of the foil is just touching the bottom, and then I'm just going to fold that back to secure it a little bit. And I'll take it a step further and just put a little piece of Scotch tape right there so it can't get away from me while I'm arranging this. And then you're just going to get your hand in there and smooth it down. If it's not all the way to the bottom, it's not perfect. That's really not all that important. As long as you have it smooth down the back real nice, if you can see that. Okay. And then put everything together and slide it in. Now see, it's not going in, so something is too thick. Let's take that off the corner. And I can feel it, it's not going in all the way. All right, let's try it again. There, see? That little bit on the corner got in the way. So I'm just going to pause for a second, and then I'm going to show you the grinder in action with this hack in place. So hang on just a second. Okay, and we're back. And I want to show, if you've seen my other video review of this grinder, I showed the grind size for both the finest #1 setting for espresso, and then I did like a number 10 in the middle for the medium grind. Today I want to show what a coarse setting looks like on this, especially because coarse coffee is what creates a lot more static. So I forgot a dish. Hang on, so I can show you the final product. This goes all the way up to 18 settings. I usually go on number 15 to do my French press for cold brew, which is plenty coarse enough. But let me show you what the number 15 looks like here. Let's put a little in there. Okay, and I'm going to do this manually, just run it through. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but a lot of it, most of the coffee's at the bottom. There's always going to be a little bit of static. Like I said, this will solve about 75 to 80% of the problem, but not 100%. But when you pull it out, you can see there's none on the sides. There's a little on the back and a little on the top. But we'll do this, and it knocks a lot of it down. And when you open this up, there's nothing on the lid, and there's nothing flying out, which is really, really nice. And there's hardly anything left over when you empty this. So here's what the number 15 setting looks like. This is what I use in my French press when I make cold brew coffee. So I'm going to hold that long enough. Hopefully the camera will focus on that nicely for you. So you can see the coarseness of it. This is perfect for French press. If you're a French press lover, I highly recommend this grinder. It really does a nice job on the coarser grind. The really fine grinds, you know, they're okay. But like if you have an older or a little less expensive espresso machine like I have, my Starbucks Barista, which uses a pressurized portafilter, the grind size isn't really as important because it's very forgiving. The pressurization will make up the difference for you. So let me show you the absolute coarsest grind on this, which I have never used. It is very, very large. So let's just do that just for the sake of comparison here. Okay, I'm going to take that all the way up to 18. Put a little bit in there. You could certainly use number 18 for French press. It's all a matter of preference. I just happen to like the number 15 setting. For me, it does a little bit better extraction for the type of coffee I use. But if you're, like I said before, if you're a French press coffee lover, anything in that section from 13 to 18 you will love. I mean, it really does a nice job with the coarse grind. Oops. Okay, again, we knock it down. It's off the lid. It just does such a wonderful job. And you don't, even when you pour it out, you don't have all this staticky stuff flying all over and sticking to you or your counter or the grinder. Here is what number 18 setting looks like. So you can see it's pretty coarse. For the most part, it's very, very, I'd say it's probably about 80-90% consistent. Many grinders, when you get to something this large in the coarse setting, it kind of loses some consistency. You get like big, like half beans in there. This one's not quite that bad. It's pretty consistent. There's one or two large pieces in there. But overall, for coarse ground coffee, this does a really, really good job. I like this grinder a lot. And the longer I own it, the more I like it, the more versatile I think it is. So, that is my kitchen hack for the day on the CBM 18 by Cuisinart. And the foil trick, this can most certainly be done also if you have the little square Cuisinart, the DBM 8. This will also work. Just be sure to line the lid and the back, or I suppose you could even do the front, but that way you wouldn't be able to see the coffee grinding. But and line one side of the inside of the container, and you will reduce the static by quite a bit. So I hope this is helpful to you. And again, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.